Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're here for a special in-depth reason. What am I talking about? This car right here. This is a 2023 Porsche 911 GT3 Touring. But before we just dive in to this iconic sports car, let's talk about what's going on here. So you guys have seen them. You guys have replied. You've been enjoying these deeper dives into certain cars. I figured why not do a deeper dive into this one, the mighty GT3. Now, with the introduction of the 992, it was a total redesign, that new generation moving forward. It's the last of all Porsche 911s to have a naturally aspirated engine. It's also one of the last to have a manual transmission. The only way to get a manual transmission in a new 911 is that you either go Carrera T, which only comes in a manual transmission, or you go with a GT3 or GT3 Touring. You could either get the 7-speed PDK or the 6-speed manual. And just so it's known, the 6-speed manual in the GT3 and GT3 Touring are not the same as what's in the Carrera T, even though they're both now 6 speeds. So just something to chew on as well. But of course, looking at these is one thing, talking about them is another. What is it like to live with and drive on a regular basis a 911 GT3 Touring? Is it a soft, cushy experience because it's got the Touring name added to it? Or does it have all that Porsche race car motorsports DNA in it, and it's such a thrilling, engaging driving experience? Why don't we, both of us, get behind the wheel and let's see what is it like to live with a 911 GT3 Touring. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Porsche 911 GT3 Touring. This is what you're going to see once you enter the vehicle. And like I said, the bolstering with the carbon fiber buckets is pretty intense. So if you're looking for an easier daily driving seat, you're either going to want to go with the base seat or the 18-way power adjustable. To fire up the Porsche 911, just like every other 911 before it, it's going to be on the left-hand side of the wheel. And I love the fact that you still have the twist action, even though there's not an actual key involved. Everything comes to life and fires up. And this is what you see once the vehicle is fired up. I'm going to go ahead and show you first the AC controls because it's hot. It's a hot day today. You have these nice metal toggle switches here located right in the center in front of the shifter. This is for your dual climate control. You have your audio knobs, and then you also have touch areas for your defrosters up front and out back. Now, the one thing I got a zonk that I hate is that to do recirculating, you actually have to go into the AC controls on the infotainment side of things. And I'll get to that part in a second. But let's get back to what's right in front of us. You do have that GT steering wheel. You have some audio controls and whatnot on the wheel on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. This button right here is very, very important. This is your modes. So you're just going to twist and you're going to go from normal to sport to track. Very easy to switch through those modes. And then on the right-hand side, the stock is for your windshield wipers. Turn signals are on the left-hand side. You do have a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then your actual headlight controls are right by the twist, the key twist to fire up that flat 6. And you do have a separate stalk for your cruise control. Now the dash, nicely displayed. that analog tachometer smack dab in the center where it belongs. And then you're going to have digital readouts where you can put things like all your coolant, your fuel, all those goodies. There is a fuel gauge and your coolant temperature gauge. And then you could put a clock and a speedometer on the left-hand side. I'll be honest, the steering wheel blocks a majority of the information, except for the most important stuff. The tachometer and all of the readings for the vehicle, the coolant, the oil temp, all that good stuff. Oil pressure, all nicely displayed. Speedometer actually shows two different places. You have the digital speedometer here with your gear indicator you'll see when we go through the gears, and then you have a separate speedometer. But you could change the configuration of that very easily by going through the switch gear. There isn't a head-up display. This one does have the optional Sport Chrono package that gives you the clock, which is also a stopwatch up top. On the driver's side door, lock and unlock. You have your windows, your mirror controls. Everything is flat black, so you don't have to worry about fingerprints. And then on the right-hand side here, you have a cup holder. You do have your electric e-brake. The 6-speed manual. Nice, crisp engagement, short throws. I already showed you the AC controls. And then you have a separate amount of toggle switches here. This one's an option for your front end assist lift. You have your PASM. You could click to turn off the sport, or you could put it in sport, all by the press of the toggle switch. Shut off your electronic control, stability control, and your traction control, all at your fingertip reach. And then you have a 10.9-inch infotainment system, plenty of different icons on it. Now, to change and put on the recirculating and the air conditioning, I actually have to hit the icon. That brings up your AC controls, and then you hit the recirculating. So that is a major zonk. It should be something right here, because now see how it's illuminated, recirculating? It should be right here where I want to get to it. We could go back to your home screen. This is the main screen. You got your navigation. Very quick, very intuitive, and very easy to work with. And then my favorite one is obviously going to be when you hit the little Porsche 911 icon. It's got our GT3 that we're in, even with the red calipers. You got your listing of different drive modes, all that good stuff that you could manually touch here. Or as you can see, when you go into sport mode, it automatically shuts off your automatic start stop, turns on your sport exhaust, auto blip if you don't want to do your own heel toe downshifting, and it tells you what mode you're in. But other than that, seat controls, you just have a manual control right here on the right hand side to move it forward and backward. There is no actual tilting. You can pivot the seat a little upward or downward, the front of it. That is electric assist, and that is going to be right underneath the left bolster. But other than that, that is your layout in here. Now it's time to see how easy it is to live with this thing. So clutch is perfect. It's got a nice weight to it. Good pickup point. You put it in reverse. That's our backup camera. I am going to zonk it. I wish it was a little larger there. But you do have trajectory lines. And it does give you a nice clear resolution there on the imagery. And then eventually, once you start driving away, it'll disappear. You do have rear wheel steer, so when you're in a tight parking lot area, it's so easy to park this vehicle. It's so easy to navigate with it. You have that naturally aspirated 4-liter flat 6 Outback producing 502 horsepower in a vehicle that weighs under 3,200 pounds. You just don't see that much nowadays. Cars have gotten so freaking heavy, it's not even funny. But it's just a really, really nice analog feeling car, even in the modern era of cars. And that's one of the many reasons why I love these. But everything is well organized in here, right in reach of where it needs to be. Love the way it has the gear indicator right there in the tachometer. We're in third gear, you got your speed. And then, like I said, we got that red line of 9,000 RPM. Very, very smooth operation of that flat six, that 4-liter flat six. And of course, with this 6-speed manual transmission. But even though it's a bear to get in and out of the vehicle, once you're in, these performance carbon fiber performance seats, the buckets, are actually really comfortable. But like I said, it's just, you know, you got to get in and out, which is a little bit of a hassle to climb over that large bolstering. If you want the easiest, the best seat for everyday use is obviously going to be the 18-way adjustable. But the way this car handles is like none other. And it shows all of that great engineering that they've done at Porsche, to where you just feel one with this vehicle. On throttle, here we go. I mean, I don't even need a shift, just because the car has so much flexibility with the rev range. It's quite phenomenal. And the automatic rev match downshift feature is one of the best in the industry. But great visibility out the front, great visibility out the back with the rear view mirror. And the side mirrors are great as well. A lot of great things going on here. But I love cars like these, man. They're really an enthusiast car. There's other 911s that are better daily drivers. I mean, a GTS would really be the sweet spot. But if you want to have that race car experience, this is the way to go. I prefer this over a GT3 RS because you can't get a manual in a GT3 RS. But it just goes through the gears so smooth. It really is the best manual shifting transmission of the modern era. I mean, look at the handling here. Look at this. And just so balanced. Great grip. Brakes are great. Here, I'll give you a little bit better adjective. The brakes have really good initial bite on the rotor with the pads, and they're very easy to modulate. So when you're trail braking and you're coming out of a corner, it's very easy to modulate the brake pedal, which is great, which is fantastic, which is excellent. The steel brakes will make some noise. If you go to a racetrack the same exact stuff when they're going through the garage area. The cars are being driven through the garage paddock area and they touch the brakes. That's just something that comes with the Steelies. Carbon ceramics, get rid of most of that. Carbon ceramics can also squeal as well to a certain extent. But the sound is just unbelievable. It really is. It's worth the price of admission, put it that way. On throttle. Obviously, I got to be a little smart because of the legalities in this area. So, not on a racetrack, so I'm not treating it like a racetrack. But I do want to showcase what this GT3 can bring, that's for sure. But I'm hoping that you've enjoyed this deeper dive, seeing what is it like to live with, seeing all the functions and features. We're going to get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. Alright guys, always enjoy bringing more content that you guys want, especially when it comes to cars like these. I mean, there's gonna be a day where these are gonna be much different and I don't feel as pure with the driving experience. But what do you think? Did you like seeing what is it all about being behind the wheel of a GT3 Touring? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Got to give it up to LGR. She's working that camera like a champ, and she's the best in the biz. So thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.